Unlocking the unleashed life is not for the faint of heart. It requires a willingness to reawaken things inside of you that may have lain dormant for years, and there is pain associated with waking up. Let's dive in. Welcome to Success Sundays with Harrison. I'm your host, Harrison Wilder. I'm a corporate strategist and entrepreneur with an executive MBA from the George Washington University. I've managed 2 multi-million-dollar companies, and I advise top-level executives from a variety of industries. In this show, you'll find practical insights that will help you succeed as a leader in today's business environment. If you're serious about developing your skills as an executive, this is the place for you. Enjoy today's episode. I remember waking up from the first time I had lung surgery. I was 16 years old, and coming out of surgery was okay at first until different parts of my body started waking up. If you've ever had surgery or thought about having surgery, you've probably shared my concern. Is this gonna hurt? I was so concerned about the potential for pain that I was extremely grateful to know that I was connected to a spinal tap. The doctor told me that anytime you feel pain or discomfort, you just press the red button with your thumb and all the medicine will start to flow. You can imagine my relief, right? You better believe that at the first inkling that I might have any kind of pain at 16 years old, I was smashing that red button. Of course, what I didn't think about was that the medicine wasn't actually removing pain. It was just putting parts of my body to sleep so that I didn't feel the pain. And not just the parts of my body that may have actually been in pain, but just about all of me. I was groggy, couldn't move much, unable to focus. I couldn't even use the bathroom by myself. But at least I wasn't in pain. The not so funny thing about keeping your body asleep is that eventually you forget about what it actually feels like to be awake. Did you ever stop to notice that there is a little pain associated with being awake? Sometimes muscles hurt. Sometimes you have cramps in your body. Sometimes you get fatigued. I don't recommend focusing in on it, but if you did, you'd probably be able to find some area of your body that's uncomfortable right now. There's nothing wrong. You're awake. And when I left the hospital, they gave me more pain relievers to take at home. And anytime I would start to feel any discomfort, I took a dose. This continued for a couple of weeks with me unable to differentiate from the pains of surgery, and the side effects of the medicine continued for months. All the while, I wasn't myself. Tutors came by the house to help me finish my school for the year, but I couldn't focus. I was supposed to go to summer camp, but I couldn't work up the desire. In many ways, I spent that summer asleep, months of my life that I'll never get back. Now, my friend, Confined Carl, that I like to talk about, he's like that 16-year-old that I was. One focus: avoid pain. But to pursue a dream is to accept some level of discomfort. The simple fact that you want something that you don't have yet is pain. And for Confined Carl, that hurt goes deeper than that, because he actually did pursue his dream at one time and failed. So the pain is intensified. Have you ever put your efforts towards something? Really gave it your best shot and then failed to get what you desired? How did it feel? What would you give to avoid that experience? What would you give to avoid your children having that experience? Probably a lot. Nobody wants to experience pain. So Carl does what I did. He mashes that red button. He puts those desires inside him to sleep over and over again. He avoids the pain, not realizing that the medicine isn't just affecting the targeted area, it's affecting every area of his life. Before long, Carl has spent years of his life sleeping, and he can't even tolerate the normal pains that come with being awake. Before you continue with my podcast, you need to know that I'm going to attempt to awaken some things inside of you that may have lain dormant for some time. And your instinctual reaction is going to be to resist. But to live like my other friend, Unleashed Larry, you have to let those things come alive in you again and face the potential pain that may be there. The Bible beautifully says this: "Wake up, sleeper, rise from the dead, and Christ will shine on you." You may have to tell yourself that living life while asleep is the real pain. It's a slow death to live without dreams, to keep your desires in check, to coast through the days without focus. And it's not wise. The writer of Ephesians tells us that be very careful then how you live, not as unwise, but as wise. And then he goes on to say to make the most of every opportunity because the days are evil. Well, evil here means difficult or hard. He's saying that living life without purpose is difficult and foolish. So he continues, don't be foolish, but understand what the Lord's will is. In other words, let those dreams and desires that God has put inside you flourish and bring clarity to what it is that you're supposed to be doing. And then it says, don't get drunk with wine, which leads to debauchery. Instead, be filled with the Holy Spirit. He's saying stop self-medicating the pain. Stop trying to avoid it, but trust that God will carry you through any pain that you're going to have to face, and He's going to bring you joy and fulfillment as you move forward toward your dreams. Now, years later, I had the exact same surgery in my other lung, but this time I was more knowledgeable. I wasn't willing to trade months of my life to avoid pain. I told the doctors, do what you have to do to me to put me to sleep, but I don't want any narcotics. Right? I just want something to keep the inflammation down. I had just started my MBA program and I didn't want to show up to class groggy. I didn't want to miss this opportunity. Plus, I had a family at home and I wanted to be present for them. I was nervous about the potential for pain, but I decided to face it head on. Whatever was coming, I wanted to be awake for it. I'm asking you to consider doing the same thing for yourself. Give yourself permission to go through the rest of this podcast with your heart and mind open, ready to allow yourself to experience whatever emotions are going to come. There's going to be moments of sheer joy and others of slight pain, but you're going to be awake for all of it. Would you believe that in that second round of lung surgery that I experienced hardly any pain at all? I was only in the hospital one night, and I remember waking up that morning, standing up, facing the windows as the sun came in, and just singing a song of gratefulness to God because I was hardly in any pain. I couldn't believe that years before I had spent a whole summer asleep just to avoid that small amount of pain. It was truly foolish. Can I encourage you? Go ahead and wake it all up. It's not going to be as bad as you think. And if you allow Him, God will carry you through any pain that is coming and lead you into the joy that He's prepared for you to live in. Here's a success challenge for this week. It's a simple journaling exercise. Pull out a sheet of paper or open up your laptop and start typing. And I want you to be bold and write down some dreams you've had for your life that you've let slip away. Some things that you've really wanted to do or become. Write them down and imagine yourself doing them. I know it might be painful at first, but it's time to live again. Listen to this verse from Romans. The hour has already come for you to wake up from your slumber, because your salvation is nearer than when we first believed. The night is nearly over. The day is almost here. If you have any questions for me that I might be able to help you with on a future episode, just post them down in the comments. I'd love to hear from you and create content that's super relevant and helpful for you. So put those down in the comments. My team's going to tee them up to me for future episodes. But until then, have a great week and I'll see you next time. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. You know, great businesses and great leaders are built using effective communication. For more, go to speakingschool.com, grab my Elite Business Success Toolkit for free just for trying out our Speaking School membership. That's speakingschool.com. See you next time.